Hello, and this video is designed to show how we can use a Google form and also a Google Sheet to both record our students' daily activity ratings as well as analyze those ratings after the fact. So what I'm going to start with is I am in Google Drive, which allows me to have folders and everything else, and I've created a folder specifically for Mike Ramey's evaluation. And the little purple icon up here will indicate that this is a form, and the green one will indicate that I've also created a sheet that goes with that. We're going to go ahead and start with the form, and when I double click on the form, you'll notice that it brings up a sheet of what this looks like. Now I can't fill this out. This is how I've built it. And basically what it is I've given it a name, a daily summary of work, what date this was, and notice that when I click on this is actually a question. I can choose that this is a date type question, so the only thing that I can put in there are dates. Now the next one down actually is going to act like a header title, so that it says, hey, all these questions are about general appearance, independent living, and employment. If I want to add one of these, which is like a break in the information, it's called add a title or description. All it is just typing. There's no question or anything that goes with it. Then I have in here a couple of questions, and I did clean hair, face, hands, and nails. I did a linear scale from 1 to 5, and I had it right on there. 1 is low and 5 is high. You notice we can go all the way up to 10 on these, and all of that goes through, no problem. You can make it required if you like. You'll notice that there are a variety of questions that we can use. You can have short answers in case you want to make a note on a specific question. You get a multiple choice, check boxes. These are the same thing, except for check boxes allow you to mark more than one answer per question. Multiple choice only allows one answer per question. But the linear scale is a nice one for doing rating scales. You'll notice hair combed, uniform, and then I got into a new section. So again, instead of creating a new question, which would be this button, I created a new section or description. I'm into social behaviors, and I go into verbal expression and things like that. Now, this is how I have built the form that I will use. This is not the one that I would send to people to use, or even the one I would normally fill in, because if I change this, it changes the questions. It doesn't record my answers. Once I've built this, and I think it's the way I want, I can look at it up here and preview it, and that will even let me do things with it as far as if I want to submit an answer, which I'll show you in a minute, or I can send it. These buttons do the same thing. They bring you to the same place. It's just send allows you to send it as an email or get it as a link. So let's say this is something that I personally want to know the link to, or I want to email it. You'll notice I can send an email, but I can also grab the link. And if I highlight this and hit copy, I can now go to a web browser page and paste that link in. And when I do that, it'll bring up the actual form that I would want to use if I'm filling it out. And you'll notice that it actually kind of breaks it out. It gives some background here and things like that. But this is something I can actually fill out, and it will record my data. Now the cool thing, at least with Chrome, is if I want to, I can actually right click on this, and I can go down here and, I can actually make this something that is down here, a bookmark that I'm able to open up real quick and easy from my desktop. The other thing you can do is bookmark these across the top. Either way would be nice. So let's say I'm just going to go in and fill one of these out. You'll notice, again, going back to this page, if I click on preview, it brings me to the exact same page. But I'm not sharing this like you do other Google documents, because if you share it with people, what that allows them to do is edit the questions, not fill it in. So I want to send it. When I get these, let's just say I did one today. I'm going to go through here. I can choose any day. Today is December 1st. And let's just go through and actually I'm going to use November 30th. I'm going to go through here and give myself some ratings. And the neat thing about this is if we do this and we hit submit, we've got a couple of options. One of them is I can see my responses right away, or I can submit another one. So let's say I forgot to do yesterday and I need to do it again. I can do this and just change the date. Or I can see my responses. And this is the data you get when you click on see responses. You'll see I've done evaluations on all these days. You'll also notice that I get a chart. how many times did I get a 1 on clean hair face, how many times did I get a 4, what are the percentages that go through on each one of these, and all those things get spelled out for me. And that's a nice way to look at where you're at. Now, I will tell you that this is not everything that's on here. If we go back to where I created the form, back here, you'll also notice that responses are available here. And if I click on them, I get kind of the same information. You know, it's all spelled out, it's kind of laid out the same, but I like how it gives me the percentages right there on the graph. But in case I need to get even more specific, you can do view responses in Sheets, which is like an Excel document. And if I click on that, I've already created this one. Now I will tell you, all of this created the way it is, except for I added this one line to average my numbers, and I'll explain that a little bit more. But basically, what I did is I wrote an equation. You can see it right here, and all I did was type in equals the word average and then parentheses, and I highlighted this column. So if I was going to take the average of this column, I would type in here average parentheses, and then I would highlight everything I want to average and then end parentheses, and it would give me that. Now it's giving me an error because there's nothing there. But you can see here, you can see on 1028 these were my ratings, but you can see over time these are the averages that I've gotten. Now the one benefit of doing this that I like is if I highlight November, let's say I want to know how did I do in November's time range right here. There's a button down here that automatically sums all those numbers, but the arrows next to it let us choose something different. It'll tell us how many their counts are, what the maximum value was, but right there is average. So if I want to know, hey, the average in November was 3.4, his overall average was 3.3, looks like he might be making progress. And you can then highlight certain data ranges to see, okay, month, okay, week, whatever you want to put, and you can see whether or not there was improvement. And again, this can be done daily. It can be done on an iPad, Android phone. It can be done on the computer. It can be shared with other people. So if there's multiple people in the group that need this data, it can be shared all at once. And again, when you go back to the questions, you can always edit the questions, you know, and change them. I would advise you, once you make it, don't make changes to it after you've started entering data, because if you change the order, it would make the questions go out of order on the responses. So just be careful of that. All right, that's the basics of what I can show you today on Google Forms and using that to progress monitor. Thank you.